On the 22nd of March 2018, it was World Water Day, and as part of that event, which occurs all around the world in countries everywhere, we ran a very special event here on the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia, and it was a very powerful healing event called Healing Miracles, which occurred at a waterfall here, and it was absolutely beautiful. The day was just really profound, as it was always going to be. And I had been aware of planning a day like that, or should I say, a day manifesting itself like that, for a pretty long time before that. And so to see that event come to fruition, where people came from literally all around the world, certainly all around Australia, but from other parts of the world as well, to be at this profound blessing and profound healing event. It was just awesome. It was awesome, and yeah, I feel very grateful on many levels for that day. And so I wanted to share a story because I've been on such an interesting journey for the last few weeks, and a very specific kind of path that has resulted from that event. And I've been doing something that a lot of you guys have been doing for quite some time now, but like most things in my life, the really simple things tend to come to me right at the very end. I do all the really complicated stuff first, which is a bit weird, but so 22nd of March, I wasn't really preparing to do anything for this event, to be honest. I was really just attending a space where healing was going to occur, and we would co-participate and collaborate in healing. So I wasn't really taking the lead in anything in particular, and was as much of a participant as anybody else. And so, like healing events typically in our life, and very large healing climaxes and cruxes in our life, there can be some pre-work that occurs and some preparation that occurs in your life, and some adjustments that will occur before that event, to make room for the miracle of what it is that you need in your life. And so, yeah, not only adjustments after the event, but certainly some pre-stuff occurs. And many of you who undertake healing journeys and initiation and a shamanic path of some sort will know that that healing is cyclic, and that there is a waxing phase if you know what to look for. And so, a few days before Healing Miracles, I was going to make myself coffee. And in the middle of that, coffee was sharply guided to stop, and quite impromptu. Apparently, I was beginning a fast, which was then just to continue for the next 3 days, I figured, until the event itself. Fasting is pretty common for me. I've done that a lot in my life for periods of time. But I hadn't planned to be doing anything particularly in terms of preparation for the event. And so so suddenly my coffee went down the drain, and the milk went back in the fridge, and I went, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. And so off we went. And so I didn't get to finish my coffee. Now, the reason I'm talking about coffee is because, for anyone who really knows me, they will know that for pretty much my entire life, I suspect I came out of the womb with a coffee in my hand, or at least an iced coffee. I've been an avid coffee drinker my entire life, very strong and fairly large amounts of coffee on a daily basis. But even more so than that, I've been a massive milk drinker, and a huge milk drinker pretty much my whole life. From even as a kid, I'd be drinking cold milk and even iced coffee first thing in the morning. In truth, I would be drinking 2, maybe even 3 litres of milk a day, and was doing that for 30 years. So I had a very specific kind of diet and an enjoyment of a particular type of food, and so fasting was no big deal, because going off something for a day or 3 or 7 or whatever, that's fun. And even going off coffee for me for fasting purposes was always fine. I never really got too bad withdrawals or whatever. It's like my system just got with the program and went, yeah, okay, we can take a break. I'll suspend the withdrawal factor because I know we're coming back. And so this time it was kind of the same. No withdrawals was fine. So for 3 days fasted and energetically prepared and so forth for this event. And On the day itself, I even remember I was under a waterfall with my hand on someone's forehead thinking, I'm really looking forward to having a coffee tonight. And so it wasn't really I didn't have a plan or any rules or anything, but anyway, there we go. And so after the event, nope, absolutely nothing. Food was fine, but I wasn't really interested in coffee, and I certainly wasn't interested in milk. And of course, the nature of Healing Miracles was around complete transformation and release of that which is no longer serving our lives and our awareness now of our connection to our spirit. And so it does not surprise me that something so profound like that, which has been in my life for 30 years, just slipped away. And then over the days following, it just remained slipped away. Like, not even a withdrawal, really. Not even man, I feel like a coffee. I feel like milk. Like, it was just done. The ease of it was just pretty mind-blowing. And yeah, it was really quite amazing. And so I had this real dietary transformation. And I haven't had a coffee since. I haven't had milk since. I've had a little bit of dairy, like for ice cream and stuff, but no, it's just gone. The entire coffee and milk template. I tried coffee with coconut milk and soy milk and other things, and it's just shit. Like, it just ruined my coffee experience. So I can't even enjoy it anymore. So fuck it. So I let it go, and so it's gone. But more than that, whoa, more than that, since this event, a whole range of other things have happened. And so I wanted to just take some time to kind of show you what's been going on in my my life for the last month or so, because as part of this healing, of course, profound people and opportunities and events will come into your life, apparently in great surprise, and you go, whoa, where did this come from? But if you understand the timing of things and synchronicity, it's not remotely surprising. And so my beautiful wife found herself a colonic hydrotherapist who lives local to where we are here in the Sunshine Coast, and went with a session with her, and came home and said, I really think you need to have a chat to this woman. I think you guys will connect. And so I did, and I had done enemas and stuff in the past, not regularly, but and my body felt pretty comfortable with that and felt good with that process, so I liked that kind of clearing. And so to do a colonic session was pretty cool. I got it. Didn't really have any anticipation or expectations of it, and to be honest, didn't prepare a great deal. I stayed on juices and didn't really eat a lot in the 12 hours before as advised, but I didn't do much before that, and I can't say my diet was utterly light-based prior to that time. And so off I went, and it was fucking great. The first session alone, it was just transformative, even in my body. I could feel more than physical weight being released from my body. The person who we're seeing is particularly fantastic. I would call her a colonic empath, and where her empathic skills are both highly tuned, as many empaths are, but hers are just around your colon and around your ass. She's just very clever, and she's very in tune with her craft and with her skill, and so she was an ideal person to see for me. And so I began that process, and then began getting introduced to other things around looking at all of the various bugs and stuff in my body, and getting just my head around the idea of worms and parasites and fungus and all sorts of stuff that get stored in your colon from the very first moment. And so the more I got aware of this and became aware of this, the more I really got into it. In a very short period of time, my body was just saying yes, 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 yes. It's like everything came in a very short period, and I knew this is what I wanted to do. So off I went. And so I wanted to show you what my entire basic diet and physical process has been looking like now for a month. Check this out. So this is quite literally everything that is going in or on my body over the last month or more. And I wanted to just kind of tell you a little bit about what I've been doing and what my personal process has been, because a lot of people, of course, do detoxes and all of that sort of thing, and there's some really good advice and some really shit advice and everything in between. And I thought I would just show you, I guess, what I'm doing and explain a bit about why I've done what I've done and gone down the track that I've gone down for cleansing my body, just so you can get a feel for the thinking behind it and for what I've found and what products I've found and been recommended and so forth, and then you can just get a feel for all of that for yourself. Largely I have informed myself with very smart people, of which I am not a smart person, but I know lots of them, which is very handy, so I've been able to get some really good advice, and I'm pretty connected with what feels right for me. So between actual good advice and that, I've really just forged my own path and not followed a program or a particular process or a known thing. I've really just gone with it and am still going with it. My sense is, and my vague plan is that my this process will kind of wrap up for me in about a fortnight or so, but yeah, for now I'm still sort of in it, and I just wanted to introduce you to a little bit of what I've been doing with my time. So this is kind of my deal. I have a morning and an evening ritual, and I've been doing it pretty much religiously for the last month or so. And so first thing in the morning when I get up, the first thing I'm taking is bicarb. Bicarb soda alkalizes the body, and as most of us will know, anything kind of harmful to us cannot live in an alkaline environment. Acidic environments are absolutely ideal for things that want to hurt us. And so I've been taking bicarb internally. I cannot stand the taste of it in water. It quite literally tastes like urine, and I don't know what urine tastes like, but I swear to God it tastes like piss. So I've encapsulated it, and I've just bought a whole lot of blank capsules and put it in capsules, and I take 2 large bicarbs in the morning, and I also take another 2 large ones at night, which is equivalent to probably 2 teaspoons, and I take that at every single day now, and my body is loving that stuff. Make sure you get the really good quality bicarb, not the shitty stuff that you get at your supermarket. This is the pharmaceutical grade bicarb, and you can get it from your health food store. It's pretty easy to find, but make sure you get the good stuff. So that's the very first thing that I take in my morning. As soon as I get up, I take 2 of those with some water. The next thing I take when I get up is papaya, specifically the papaya seeds. And so I've been living on papaya seeds twice a day, again once in the morning, and around a tablespoon or a very flat tablespoon. Again, there's information around the papaya and how much of the seed you should take. Apparently some people can be allergic to the seed, and it does taste quite bitter. But I kind of just went at it. My body said, yes, I know I like papaya. So I take around a flat tablespoon in the morning and again at night, and I crunch them up in some water with some papaya plus, and I put a bit of that in it as well, just for flavouring. It's just a slightly better papaya flavour. It's a little bit sweet, but that's a natural probiotic as well, and it's quite strong, but tastes better diluted in a bit of water, and it combines well with being able to just crunch those seeds down and to be able to break them down in that way. The other 2 things that I put in that water is the Dr. Morse's Parasite G. Parasite G and Parasite M are 2 of the best products you can use from the Dr. Morse's botanicals to kill worms and parasites and bugs in your body. It's a fantastic thing. And the other thing I've been taking is black walnut, and I found a MediHerb version of black walnut. So I've been taking 5 ml of that every day as well, and that's also specifically for killing worms and parasites. So once I've taken my bicarb in the morning, I then have a very small glass of water that tastes like utter shit, with all of those ingredients in it, and I really just down that in a single mouthful or 2. around 15 minutes later, when all of that has kind of settled down, I then get onto the most amazing product that I got referred to by my colonic hydrotherapist, and that is called Bowel Restore. It's always a good idea to take a combination of things when you are looking at detoxing properly and doing colonic therapy properly. And Bowel Restore was introduced to me after I had done my first session, and was advised that this is really the best type of product, not specifically this brand or product, but this type of product is the best that you can use while doing a colonic detox process and colonics. So I began taking Bowel Restore. It's a black powder. Okay, so the thing about Bowel Restore, good Lord, it tastes foul. It is the most disgusting stuff. And pretty much everyone who tries it will tell you that. However, people who have taken it for amounts of time will change their story. And I will tell you that the first time that I tried it in the morning, because again, you're meant to take it in the morning and at night, I took 2 spoons in the morning and thought, this is the most god-awful shit I've ever tasted in my life. I cannot do it. There's no way I'm going to be able to manage this. But I tried it again that night, and for some reason, the edge had just been taken off, and I thought, no, I can do it. I can do this. I can do this Bowel Restore business. The next morning, I tried it and went, this is actually okay. There's something quite nice about this. And that the second night I tried it, more. I want more. My body had just transformed my taste buds. I assure you it still tastes like shit. But now my body wants it at such a deep cellular level that it just tells my taste buds to shut up. It is the best stuff. You're meant to drink this in water. And you can. Of course you should. I drink it in juice. I drink it in a really cheap apple and guava juice, or just something nice and sweet like a tropical or a orange and mango sort of thing. I find that the juice stops it from thickening up quite so fast, as is its purpose. It thickens up very fast and turns into black runny shit to black gluggy shit very quickly. And so you're meant to drink it really fast, so obviously it has that cleansing effect on your bowel and on your colon. And so yes, you drink it pretty fast. I have it in juice. Juice makes it taste a little better, and it stays looser for longer, stays more liquidy for longer. So, but I actually enjoy it now. I've got no problem with the taste of it. It's very intense, but I cannot recommend it highly enough. And as was recommended to me, when you take your main product and product combination range for doing detoxes and cleanses like this, prepare. I hadn't done anything to prepare for my first colonic session, and of course that makes a bit of sense, but I didn't really do anything intensively and found out all of the best preparation methods afterwards, of course. Let me tell you that the secret to colonics, as I understand it, is not about maintenance afterwards. It is about preparation prior. If you put all of your effort into getting ready for your first session rather than running with it from your first session, trust me, you will get so much more from it. As was advised to me, start taking this product or a product of that nature at least 2 weeks before your first colonic session. Start going hard on juice and less on solid food. Bail on your bread and meat and dairy specifically as the 3 primary carriers of bugs and bad shit that you put in your body and then grows there. Just cut back on that as much as you can and just go light food and start that stuff. So here we go. Bowel Restore. Bowel Restore makes your shit horrendous. My colonics person took great delight and takes great delight, as most people do in that profession, about talking about poo. And when you get into this sort of stuff, let me tell you, you become a poo connoisseur. You're into all sorts of poo stories, and you either dig it or you don't. But anyway, dig it or anyway, that's a bit gross. So you will probably go to the bathroom 3 to 5 times a day when you first start taking it, and your shit is just black. It just looks foul, and you are shitting far more than you've eaten. It's just really weird, and it's all stuff that is stuck in your bowel. It is stuff that is already in your body that has not
gone anywhere. So like, just do the math and it feels good. Like, you go, hey, this is really working, and you can feel your body likes it. And so it's a really good thing. And so you start loosening that environment and getting that environment ready, making it already unhospitable for the bugs that are in there. So by the time you get to your first session, like, you just smash it. As different to rocking into your first session completely unprepared and blocked to various levels, and the session being ineffective or even painful to various levels because you didn't really prepare, and then you go, oh shit, now I need to start. Trust me, if you ever consider colonics, and I cannot recommend it enough, start before, start 2 or 3 weeks before, and do the very best you can in just starting to go light, and doing all of that before you start. Anyway, that's so that's part of my morning ritual as well. And then I have 2 scoops of that in some juice, and then let that sit for a while. And then after that, I'm pretty much into my day in terms of food and so forth. But let me tell you that, again, as part of kind of the healing journey and as what I'm taking, by the time I've done this, I get to about maybe 9 o'clock. My body doesn't want food anymore. Let me tell you what I'm living on. I can show you. I'm living on that, just about. Juices in general, but holy shit, cranberry and berries, orange juice. I can't get enough of this shit. And this amazing thing that I've found, this choc almond super smoothie, and it's coconut water, not even coconut milk, and it's got cacao and chia seeds and all sorts of good shit. Man, that's been my iced coffee replacement in my life, and it's just totally healthy, and it's energizing, and it's good stuff. So even just during my day, by the time I'm looking at my second cycle of doing all of this again in the evening, I'm barely really getting hungry. Like, this stuff just kind of feels funny in your body. It's doing some weird stuff. The Bowel Restore has psyllium, so it naturally fills you up for a time. Of course, I'm drinking heaps of water, and you need to be drinking a lot of water with all of this too. I'm just not really feeling hungry a great deal. And so by the time I get to kind of 3, 4 o'clock, I really have the option to have a meal or to start the thing again. And I've mostly, pretty much solely, just been staying with the juice. Like, I've just been wanting liquid all the time, and I've been drinking 1-2 litres of juice a day, maybe a litre of water as well. And so it's been quite easy, and my body just hasn't wanted the food. And when it hasn't wanted dairy, it hasn't wanted meat, hasn't wanted bread really. Been enjoying eggs and a few other things, you know, fruit and veggies are good, but I haven't wanted anything else. It's been great. And so I get to about 3 or 4 o'clock, and I'm gearing up again for before dinner, and basically doing the same process again. I'll start with the liquid. I'll start with the bicarb, sorry, and I'll take 2 more bicarb tablets. About 15 minutes after that, we'll take the same glass of water again, with another tablespoon of papaya seeds, the Dr. Morse's Parasite GRM, the black walnut, and the papaya plus, and I just have that in like a mouthful or 2 of water, and just crunch up all of the seeds in that liquid and just down it as is. 20 minutes or so after that, we'll have another 2 scoops of Bowel Restore in some juice, and take that. And then any time kind of after dinner, my process is generally an enema and a bath, and I've been doing that daily for over a month now, pretty much consistently without much of a break. So I'm going to tell you a bit about enemas and stuff, and what I've been advised and what I've been doing, and just the effects and that so forth on my body. So the things that I've largely been using in enemas are hydrogen peroxide, the 35% pure food grade. You've got to use the food grade hydrogen peroxide. Don't use any other stuff, because any other stuff carries a whole bunch of other shit that you don't want in your body. You want the food grade hydrogen peroxide. So I've been using around 30 to 40 drops of that in an enema, and doing that maybe once a week. I've been using bicarb as well, and using about a tablespoon of that in an enema, and doing that pretty much as my base one. I'm doing that about 3 or 4 times a week. And the other thing that I'm using is garlic, and I've found garlic to be even more effective than both of those at times. I'm just finding a whole enema bag of water, and of distilled water, of course, always distilled water for enemas, and putting a whole lot of cloves and just smashing up a whole lot of cloves of garlic and just simmering it in some water for a couple of hours and letting it sit and steep and letting it cool down, and just using that on a day and just keeping it fresh for a single day, and doing 1 or 2 of those a week as well. And so between all of those and doing that pretty much on a daily basis, the cleansing of my body and all of this has just been sort of next level. And so every night after I do my enema, I also take a bath, and I'm massively addicted to water, and I'm always in water of some form. So having like 2 or 3 showers a day and a bath isn't unusual for me, or a swim, or so I'm in the bath every night. Epsom salt, always loads of Epsom salt, sometimes Himalayan salt, the really fine stuff as well as magnesium flakes. All of those in combination when we have them, and our house goes through mountains of this stuff. A whole bunch of those in the bath every night, normally with some really yummy essential oils, ranging from lavender to frankincense, some of the cooling ones like a bit of peppermint, sometimes just soothing ones as well, because doing all of this stuff is very intensive on your body, you know. And so just something a little soothing as a way to calm your body at the end of the day of doing all of this stuff is a really nice thing to do. And so that's pretty much my day. I take a range of supplements and drinks, and then do the same again in the afternoon, enema and bath every night. I've been using detox pads and foot detox pads as well most nights, going to bed too. So I'm doing some really intensive work in terms of detox process. I'm doing colonics around twice a week with all of that, and we'll be continuing to do all of this for another 2 weeks or so in various combinations, as I am both informed and intuitively guided to do so. But it has been a profound month or more since the 22nd of March, or even just a few days before, honestly, when I was full on interrupted making my coffee, and then it all really started from there. And found the most amazing people and information, and looking at all sorts of things about worms and stuff in your body. Trust me, get on YouTube, just start doing a bit of research if you've never really considered this stuff, or never really got into it too much. There's a posse of people in certain circles, called the Colander crew, or that I call the Colander crew. And let me tell you, when poo starts becoming part of your life, and when you start doing colonics and have a real interest about what is stuck in your gut, you will be just as interested, or more so, to see it coming out. Trust me, it is quite a celebratory, awesome, funny moment, even though you're digging through your shit. And so some people, quite honestly, go to the bathroom over colanders and strainers and stuff, because they're looking for worms, man. They're like worm diggers, and they're looking for anything that is just not normal. And I suppose anyone who hasn't done anything would just be going, this whole fucking thing doesn't sound very normal. But trust me, when you are interested in getting stuff out of your body, you'll be very interested in seeing it coming out. It's quite gratifying to have the visual evidence of what you've been carrying your entire life, or sometimes up to that time. And let me tell you about the stuff that comes out, and just one last sort of bit on the experience of what the process of colonics does and has done for me, and I hear also does for other people. You need to appreciate that from day dot you've been consuming foods that are not ideal for you to digest, and that will be carrying all sorts of living bacteria, bugs, fungus, worms, everything, because you eat meat, you eat dairy, you eat things from animals, you eat things from the environment that aren't cleaned properly, you're consuming chemicals and all sorts of stuff. All of those things just start building residue and building a home in your body from day one. And it all seems very low level, because it's not like you're growing 2 heads on a daily basis, but trust me, the more you look into it, the less you want to kind of leave that environment as it is, the more you understand that there are foreign bodies having a ball in your body, and controlling your thinking and your feeling around your body and around how you treat your body and what you put in it and what you don't. All of those sorts of things. Your diet is so directed by things that are not you, that are in your body. It's pretty mind-boggling. So, I mean, do a bit of homework on this stuff, but people start getting really into their po and looking at what is coming out of their body. My understanding is that people that then move on from colonics start moving into the sinuses and moving into the head, and that we carry just as many bugs and worms and bad shit around our brain and in our sinuses and cavities as well in our head. So I'm into it. Once you start clearing from your field, you become aware of things that are not meant to be there more clearly. You have a cleaner read of things that are not meant to be there as you start to clean that template, clean that field. So the more you do it, the more you want to do it, because you become aware of what else is still there, and you get really vigorous with it. But so from the day dot, you've been accumulating all of these things that have been having levels of adverse effect on your body, and building up and storing in your colon. And so all sorts of things will be in your colon from your first years of life onwards that have been stuck there and accumulating there. And in terms of your behavior, your emotion, your energy, your spiritual development, all of those sorts of things, they are all very much trapped and part of that. If you think of like emotional templates and just triggers that you have in various things, like you have physical things stuck in your body that were there at the times of those traumas and of those events and things like that. There is an energetic connection to the physical stuckness of those things in your body. And so any fear you have around your own healing from a long time ago will be very much related to those physical blocks and barriers in your colon. And between you and the things in your body, there will be some resistance in that coming out, because it will quite literally unlock and open some of those emotional pain centers again that are connected still in real time from those events that happened so long ago. So as you start to do colonics over a period of time, it is very common for really old feelings and emotions and old emotional templates to start coming through and coming through for release, because they are being released as part of the physical blockages. It is not a physical painful process, let me tell you, but it can hit spots in your body that will hit emotional triggers for you, and that has been very interesting. Largely, I haven't had much of that experience personally, even though many people I know have, and find themselves a little teary during or after sessions, and it's just old stuff coming up, old emotional patterns just making way for clearing. And I haven't had a great deal of that, but a little bit over the last week or two, and I've been aware of all sorts of things from very early childhood and infancy. And I was in hospital a great deal when I was a young child because of complications from birth, and so I had a great deal of surgery on my body. My body was opened and invaded many times before the age of 7 or 8, and so the idea of invasiveness, just even with enemas and colonics, you've got something going up your bum and shoving water through your body and flushing your body, and it's a very intimate and personal procedure physically, and it can hit some of those centers around invasiveness and around safety and all of those, even the really old ones that you might have. And my body feels very safe, but as a child it did not always feel safe, and so I've been aware of those sorts of patterns coming up and just those old little kid feelings, that stuff. Nothing major, but it's all part of it. And so to observe these things also moving through has been fantastic, and to see the real benefit of what colonics can do when you are on a higher path. As the person I've been seeing said to me, that she will often see people sometimes in two camps, largely people who are deathly ill, who may be terminal and are looking at very very serious processes to try and keep them alive. And so colonics has been a very intensive thing for them to do as a life-saving process. But I mean, that's certainly not me. I'm healthy as anything. I am at it purely for the development point of view. I'm at it for the growth. I'm at it for the light, and for the removal of anything which is not light. It is just that simple. That's all that it's really about for me. And so for people also looking at doing extremely high frequency and high-end work, and high-end spiritual practice, let me tell you, like, this will just save you so much time in your practice work because of the templates and just the utter shit that is buried in your body that is working against you. The bugs and the consciousnesses that are living in your body working independently and together against you and your well-being. The things that you're just not aware of, trust me, they're working against you and are working against the work you're doing, your own healing work. I really can't recommend it enough. I've had the most profound couple of weeks and probably the next 2 weeks to go. I'm considering the where to from here factor now. What happens when I officially stop the formal kind of detox process? What do I return to? I couldn't imagine in a million years that I returned to my diet in any way that it was beforehand. Not that I ate a lot of meat and bread, but I think I'm just going to become a juice freak at this stage, because heavier foods just aren't really sitting. I don't have any moral objection or weird values around them. My body just says nah, and so light foods only, just light and clear foods. And if you look at foods in terms of light and what feels like light, you know what light foods are. We just don't choose them. And there are reasons why we don't choose them. And I guess what I've learned from this process is that some of those reasons are not even my own. And so it's been a profound learning experience. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. And if you have any questions or comments or whatever about any of the stuff that I've shown you or the products or stuff we've talked about, just give us a shout and I'll answer anything from my own perspective. As I said, I'm not a very smart person around any of this stuff, but I have very smart networks and friends and people that I can call. And so, not that I'm getting advice for you, but just keep in mind that I am not trained in any of this stuff formally and won't give you any formal advice. I'll just speak from my own experience and what I've been doing for myself and why. So there you go. Cool beans. Enjoy. Hope to talk to you in a bit. Cheers.